Thank you for joining me, whoever's joining me. You can say hi in the comments if you want to, if you want to let me know. And just remember, I'm using StreamYard, so I can see your comment, but I don't know who it is. Um, so, you guys, this topic today is a really good one. Last week we had our live Q&A, and I had some people that were interested in learning about how toxins affect our health and our weight and everything. So that's what I wanted to talk about today, based on you guys' feedback. So um, first, I just want to start with, like, last week, I don't know how you guys' weather was, but last week we had an ice storm here in Tennessee. And so we were like cooped up pretty much all week. And I couldn't go walk the dog or anything because it was just so icy. And now our temperature has been in the 60s since Sunday. So I felt really springy today. So I thought I'd wear pink because I'm just feeling like springy now. I'm ready for spring, I guess. So let me know how it is where you guys are. Did you get any ice or snow, or how are the temperatures where you're at now? Are they starting to warm up? Let me know. So, anyways, like I said, we're going to be talking about toxins today and how they affect your weight. And so, when I work with clients, that I take them through like my first level of um, one-on-one coaching, uh, we dive into like the food and the lifestyle stuff. But when I notice that they aren't getting the results that I thought they would get, a lot of times we have to dive deeper and look at toxins and things in our environment that may be causing the problem, that may be hindering our weight loss, or hindering us healing from a health issue. And I know that we all think that it's diet and exercise, it's the food, it's how much we exercise. And while those can play a part, they're not the only things. You have to look at your environment and how healthy it is. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I'm really excited because I love talking about this. And the clients that I have taken through this, like level 2 of my program, dealing with like their toxins in their environment, they've really had a lot of success when they've just made some simple switches. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Um, and the three things that we're going to talk about, like the three ways that affect your weight, three ways that toxins affect your weight are they can affect your metabolism, they can cause insulin resistance, and they can cause inflammation. And so I'm going to talk about those three things today, and then I'm going to give you some tips on how you can reduce your toxic load, reduce toxins in your environment, and help your body detox naturally, without having to do like you hear about these detox diets and these liquid cleanses and things like that. Your body is a natural detoxifier. Sometimes you just have to give it a little help, especially when you have a lot of toxins in your environment. So, um, let me first explain like what toxins are, and where they come from, and then we'll get started on like how they affect your weight and metabolism and everything. So, um, essentially, a toxin is any chemical that negatively affects your health. And I know that's broad, but that's really what, when you look it up, that's what a toxin is. It's any chemical that negatively affects your health. So, any chemical or a mixture of chemicals that disrupt your body's natural hormonal system or endocrine system is considered a toxin. And these chemicals can cause hormone imbalances and trigger problems with your metabolic health because, especially these toxins that are like man-made, these chemicals that are man-made, these processed things that we have made, over time, that are not natural in our environment, our body doesn't know what these things are. And so it thinks they're a threat to us. And and they're like a poison, which they are, because they are synthetic. They're chemicals that our bodies, they're not found naturally in nature. And so our bodies treat them like a threat. And so it does different things with our hormones and our metabolism and things to keep us safe from them. And that's when we get these hormone imbalances and these metabolism problems and inflammation. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if I explain that okay. Um, yeah, let me know. So, so we can encounter toxins in a lot of different ways. Our environment now, our modern lifestyle, we come in contact with way more toxins than our ancestors ever did. And so we have to be more aware of that, and we kind of have to help our body out. Um, so the air we breathe can have toxins in it, like pollution, exhaust from our car or a car, anything, any kind of chemicals like that in the air, cigarette smoke, anything like that. That is um, that is toxins in the air. And it can be in the food that we eat, like all the pesticides that are sprayed on crops, all the processed foods that maybe our animals eat, that we eat. That can all affect our toxic load. Um, and also, one huge thing in our environment that we can really um, control is our personal care products, our makeup, our lotions, our body washes, our soaps, our anything that we use on our body, on our hair, on our skin. Um, these all of these things can contribute to our toxic load. And so when we're breathing in toxic air and we're eating toxic food and we're using toxic products, um, think about how many thousands of toxins we're taking in on a daily basis. And think about how many more toxins we are taking in than our ancestors did. You know, um, our body is only meant to filter so many toxins. Like our endocrine system is made to filter out toxins. It is natural to have some toxins, but in our world today, we've got way too many. And that is contributing to a lot of our health issues, to our weight issues. It really is. And I don't think people take this seriously enough. And I really don't think people, um, they're just not aware of it. I wasn't aware of it until a few years ago when I really started cleaning up my environment. Um, so I never even thought about it until I was made aware of it. And then I started doing something about it once I was made aware of it. So you can't if you're not aware of it, if you don't know about it, then you're not going to do anything about it. So today I'm going to make you aware of it so you can start taking action on this. Because if you are eating all the right foods, if you're getting movement, if you're doing all these things that your doctor or your practitioner, your whoever is telling you, this is how you need to get healthy and lose weight, and it's not working, then you've got to look at toxins. So, um, so let's first talk about how toxins can contribute to insulin resistance, because I don't know about you guys. I mean, I've been in the health field for a while, and insulin resistance is it's like everybody is getting insulin resistance. It's crazy. The amount of people who are being diagnosed with insulin resistance, diabetes, like all these blood sugar issues that, you know, we never really had a big issue before. So, um, toxins can contribute to insulin resistance. So when you have good metabolic health, you are insulin sensitive, right? So when things are going normally in your body, when your body is functioning normally, you are considered insulin sensitive. This means your metabolism is running smoothly, um, but the less sensitive your body becomes to insulin, the more insulin resistant you become. This means your body can no longer process glucose effectively, and you can develop type 2 diabetes. So, insulin resistance is kind of the precursor to type 2 diabetes. Um, and studies have found that a big factor in developing um, the development of insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes are these endocrine disrupting chemicals, these toxins. There have been a lot of studies done on this, um, and they connect these endocrine disruptors to insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. Isn't that interesting? So, the specific toxic chemicals that they have linked to insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes are BPAs. I know we've all heard of BPAs. They took BPAs out of things probably 10 or 15 years ago. But that is not the only, plastic. They studied that one. That's the only one they really studied, right? But there's other plastics that can cause these issues as well. Um, but they took BPA out because they actually did studies on it. But plastics in general are toxic to us. That's not a natural product. So, so when we use products like plastic water bottles, plastic food containers, and any kind of plastic things that can cause toxins to get into our bodies and uh, contribute to our toxic load. So the other ones are that are linked to insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes are phthalates, which are found in usually personal care products like shampoos, conditioners, soaps, body lotions, sunscreen, things like that. Dioxins, that's another one in like personal care products you may find, and PCBs, that's another like plastics kind of thing. And um, and I know these will be hard to remember, so I'm going to talk about this later. Like, you don't have to know these like different names. I'm going to tell you what to do about it, how to reduce these. You don't necessarily have to know the name for these things. Um, just you'll hear my tips later after we talk about these three contributors of toxic overload and weight gain. Okay, so that is how insulin toxins contribute to insulin. Um, so they pretty much cause hormonal issues and disrupt um, your endocrine system and cause insulin resistance. Now let's talk about the effect of toxins on your metabolism. So there are some common toxic chemicals that have been linked to metabolic dysfunction and obesity. These are called obesogens. Have y'all heard of that? Let me know. Have you heard of the word obesogens? That is toxic chemicals that cause obesity. It's called obesogens. You can look it up. It's a very common term in like science and the medical field and stuff. Some of you, no, you haven't heard of it. Okay. Yeah, it's very common. If you Google it, you'll get a lot of information about obesogens. So you can read more on that. But so these obesogens are the common ones are phthalates, which are found in personal care products, parabens, also personal care products, and pesticides. Where do we find pesticides, guys? You know what pesticides are. They're in our they're sprayed on our crops, right? So if you're not buying organic, and I'll talk about this more later, how you can figure out um what things you should be buying organic and what, because I don't buy everything organic. Um, but there are some things that have tested very high in pesticides that you want to make sure you buy organic. Or because you think you're eating, oh, I'm eating strawberries, I'm eating blueberries, those are healthy for me. I'm eating this lettuce, it's great for me. Well, not if you're eating a big bowl of pesticides. So you're getting yes, you're getting vitamins and minerals uh, from your fruits and vegetables, but if they're one of those highly sprayed crops with pesticides, then you're also eating pesticides, which is going to contribute to your toxic load. It's been known to cause cancer. It's been known to cause all kinds of like hormonal issues, all kinds of health issues, guys. So you think you're eating healthy, but you're eating a bunch of pesticides. So not trying to scare you. I just want you guys to be aware of this so you can do better. So you can uh, eat healthier and have your family eat healthier as well. So you guys don't have these issues. A lot of things are so preventable if you can just get some toxins out of your environment. So it's phthalates, parabens, and pesticides. Those are the main. Those are some common obesogens that we find in our environment, and these toxins stimulate fat to grow. They stimulate your fat tissue to grow. And again, I'm going to tell you how to reduce these in a minute. But and we'll talk about this with inflammation too, but obesogens get into it's like your fat tissue absorbs them to keep you safe. So you're bringing toxins into your environment, into your body, but your body is still trying to keep you safe. And that's why it puts them in your fat cells, because it doesn't know where else to put them. It can only get rid of so many at a time. And it doesn't, when you get so full of toxins, it doesn't know where else to put them. So guess where it puts them? In your fat tissue. and your fat tissue grows, and that's how you gain weight, and that's why you have weight resistance, pretty much insulin resistance, weight resistance, because there's too many toxins in your fat and you haven't gotten them out. So um so that is another way. That's how toxins affect your metabolism, by getting into your fat tissues, right? Into your fat tissue and making those fat cells grow and grow and grow. And we all have a threshold for how big our fat cells, can grow. So you may see some people that are only 10, 15, 20 pounds overweight because they have a smaller fat threshold. Their fat cells can only get so big. But then you have others that their fat cells can grow like this big. And so they can gain more weight um, before they start having health issues. Isn't that interesting? When I was learning about it a few years ago, I thought that was so, like, explains why some people, they hit their fat threshold way earlier than others. That's why some people are only a few, pounds overweight, and then others can gain a lot of weight because some people have a higher fat threshold. Um, so that is that's how toxins affect our metabolism. And then there's one other way why we can't lose weight, why we gain weight, and that is toxins can affect your health and your weight through inflammation. And we talked a little bit about that. That is when your inflammation can make your fat cells grow. It can make your fat cells swell. It can make you retain water. Um, and these are all just ways. Inflammation is just a way that your body keeps you safe from foreign things that shouldn't be in your body, that, there you have too much of. That's what inflammation is. Um, And inflammation is not always a bad thing. We think of it as a bad thing, but there's actually two kinds of inflammation. There's acute inflammation it's great when you get a cut or an injury. It helps you, it'll swell, um, it'll cause like bruising or soreness or whatever, but then it's acute, so it goes away shortly, it heals up. And that is good inflammation. Acute inflammation is good. That's how, if we didn't have that, then we would never heal if we got injured, or if we got a cut. Um, so that is the good inflammation. But when we experience chronic inflammation, that's when it's not good for us, when we have chronic inflammation. And environmental toxins can cause inflammation. It can cause inflammation, and things like lead, mercury, pesticides, flame retardants, and those are some common ones that we see that cause inflammation. And when you're always inflamed, you won't lose weight. So if you always look like puffy and like you're bloated, and you just always look inflamed, like you have a lot of water on you, you're puffy, you're, you just look inflamed. You won't lose weight, because that is a sign that you have chronic inflammation. And inflammation will disrupt your metabolism and your hormones as well. So even if you're eating perfectly, bleh, I said earlier, like, even if you're eating perfectly, you're exercising, if you have toxic overload, then that is causing inflammation, you won't be able to lose weight, or you'll lose very little weight. Like, you may lose a few pounds or so, but then you'll like put it right back on. And it's like your body is just struggling. It cannot let go of that weight because you just keep bringing in these toxins and you're never getting rid of them. You're never detoxifying. And so you just keep, bringing them in, but never getting them out. And you're bringing way too many toxins into your environment, into your body, and you're never getting them out. And so your body becomes weight loss resistant. Your metabolism goes down. Your hormones get imbalance. You get insulin resistance. All these things because of your toxic environment. So you guys, if you're resonating with this, if you're like, man, I've been trying so long to lose weight, I've been trying these diets, I've been trying to eat healthier, I've been exercising, and it's just not coming off. It's time to look at your environment. It's time to look at toxins. So let's talk about the tips I have. All right. So we can't fully get rid of toxins in our environment. Like we can't help if we go outside and we breathe in air and there's pollution in the air, right? Can't do anything about that really, Um, you could spend more time in nature around trees because trees are good for like you know, cleaning up the air. They give you healthier air, healthier oxygen and stuff like that. So that's one thing you could do is like spend more time in nature, and that will help. You can bring in plants and things into your environment, and that'll kind of clean up the air in your house. Um, but you really can't, there's not much you can do about, like air pollution, um, or breathing it in. Um, but we can take other steps to reduce our toxic load and help our body get rid of toxins that do get in. Okay, there's so much we can do. So I think I've got 5 tips for you guys. 5 very easy, realistic tips that I do, my family does, and they've made a huge difference. So um, the first one is to filter your water. And I know I've talked about like drinking out of bottled water because bottled water is some of the worst water you can drink. You think you're being healthy by drinking this bottled water, but those plastics, there may not be BPA in it. It may say BPA free, but there's any plastic that gets into your water is toxic. So there's no non-toxic plastic. Uh, so when you buy these grocery store big packs of water, those 24 packs of water, um, you don't know, you don't know if they have been on a hot truck. Um, when you have them in your car, when you have them in a hot car or by a window or anything, it takes very little heat to melt those plastics because they're just very easily, they're cheap. Those bottles are really thin and it doesn't take much heat to melt those plastics. And when those plastic bottles get near heat, it melts those toxic chemicals, those toxic plastics into your water, into that bottle of water. And then you drink it, and then you're pretty much drinking toxins. So you might be drinking lots of water saying, this is what I was told to lose weight. I got to drink, you know, 6, 8 bottles of these bottled waters a day. But what you're doing is you're raising your toxic load when you're drinking out of those plastic bottles. And so what I do, like I have this metal, it's made of metal, stainless steel. And that's what I use. You can use stainless steel, you can use ceramic, you can use glass. These are going to be much better for you. So what I did, like even when I was working outside the home, I would take a um, stainless steel water bottle with me to work. I wouldn't use those plastic water bottles unless I forgot mine or something and I had to. And I'm not saying I never drink out of those plastic bottles, but I reduce it as much as possible. Like if I'm out somewhere and I'm not carrying, like I always carry like my cup of water or a stainless steel bottle with me in my car, but sometimes you're out and you don't want to carry it. And so I will drink out of plastic bottles. I'm not like, you know, crazy about it. Like I will do it, but I try to eliminate it as much as possible. Um, so, but the other thing is you want to drink. I just got off on a whole tangent there. I do that. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. My first tip is filter your water. So don't drink out of those plastic bottles, but I think I've got another tip where we're going to talk about that too. Yeah, the next tip. So the first one is filter your water. And the reason you want to do that is because tap water has chlorine, lead, mercury, pesticides. All these things have been found in our water. Even like antibiotics, things like that have been found in our water and they're toxic. So when you're drinking just straight up um, tap water, you are contributing to your toxic load. So what you can do is get an inexpensive water filter that attaches to your faucet. I've had that before. I've also had the little Brita water pitcher, and it's plastic. But the thing is with plastic, if so, I never like that water pitcher I had, it never like went in my car and it got melted. It stayed in my refrigerator. So I would fill it up in the morning and I would use that. It had a water filter on the top of it and it would filter my water. But it never, so cold plastic, if you like just leave it in your fridge, it'll be fine. If you, if you use plastic containers and things, as long as you're not heating them in the microwave or put them in your car to get hot or whatever, uh, that's fine. Like if it's in the fridge. So you can get one of those water pitchers and filter your water. But now I have a refrigerator that has a water filter on it. So that's what I do now. It filters our water. We fill up our water bottles with that, and it's filtered water that makes the ice too. The ice is filtered water also. So, and then the thing with the filters, any filters really, you can't just like never change the filter. So my refrigerator, we have to change it every 3 months. We change the water filter on my refrigerator every 3 months because it gets built up with all the stuff in the water, and then you have to throw that away and get a new one. So it keeps doing its job, right? So filter your water. Don't drink tap water. Don't drink that water from the grocery store in the plastic bottles. That is one very simple way that you can reduce toxins. You can reduce your toxic load just by doing that. And then my next tip is about the plastic packaging. So we talked a little bit about this with the plastic bottles. So plastic chemicals can leach into your food, especially when heated. So you never want to heat your food up in the microwave in a plastic container. And I don't care whether it says it's microwave safe. That plastic is still, when it's heated, it's getting into your food. So do not do it. That is contributing to your toxic load. And that may be why your metabolism is not working right. Your hormones are unbalanced. You're gaining weight. You're having insulin resistance. You've got to pay attention to that. So I switched to glass containers, like food storage containers. I switched about, I don't know, it's probably been at least 3 years ago. And now when I heat something in the microwave, it's either in one of those glass containers or it's on a regular plate. So, like my regular dinner plate. because because any plastic can leach into your food when heated. Uh, and these are endocrine disruptors. So, and they cause all three of the issues that we talked about. The insulin resistance, metabolism, and inflammation. They can cause, and it depends on the person. It may affect you differently than someone else. It may cause a different kind of inflammation for you. For one, it may cause them to gain weight. For another, it may cause acne. For another, it may cause like a health issue. That's all inflammation. It's how your body's responding, how your body is specifically responding to that endocrine disruptor. So I hope I'm making sense, you guys. Um, so yeah, so the endocrine disruptors cause all three of those issues, and plastic food storage containers, paper plates coated in that plastic, like I don't want to name brands, but you know what I'm talking about. They're paper plates, but they have a coating of plastic on them to make them like waterproof. If you heat your food on those types of paper plates, it's melting into your food. So just be aware of that. Like I've switched to just the regular old, we don't use a lot of paper plates. We mostly use the dinner plates, the regular dinner ceramic. But sometimes when we don't want to do dishes or whatever, we're in a hurry and we got to get out the door, we will use a paper plate, but they're not coated in that plastic. They're just um, I don't know what it is. It's just paper, I think. Just paper. So it's not as waterproof. It does kind of soak through, but I'd rather deal with that than contributing to my toxic load. So, um, just keep that in mind. And then plastic water bottles, all these things, avoid as much as possible because they are going to um, contribute to your toxic load and cause health issues, weight gain. And this is an easy thing you can switch over, right? Like switching, I think I got my glass containers for maybe, um, they're by Rubbermaid and they're glass containers. And they were like, for a set of them for like big, medium, and small ones, they were like $30 maybe on Amazon. So it's easy, and the paper plates are no more expensive than the coated ones. I get them at the regular grocery store. Um, you can also get them on Amazon, and I don't really buy plastic water bottles unless I'm having like my kid's birthday party or something, and I might use them then. But other than that, I really don't buy them. Um, so yeah, I'm just looking at my notes to make sure. Um, yeah, I already told you about the plastic bottles. So I can explain a little bit more about those plastic bottles. Like, I said it earlier, but like, uh, those delivery trucks, especially in the summertime, think about how hot they get. 100 degrees or more probably in the summertime, and they're on those delivery trucks. So they're already, when you buy them, whether you put them outside or in your car or whatever, when you buy them, if they've been on a delivery truck in the heat, they're already toxic because, who knows how long they've been. It just takes a few minutes of those water bottles being hot to melt that plastic, and it seeps into that water. And then you buy it and you drink it. And I cannot stand when I see at the grocery store, especially in the summertime, these stacks of bottled water outside. It's 100 degrees and they're selling this water and people are buying it. And I'm like, no, you're, this is not good. All this water that's been sitting out in this heat is toxic because all that plastic is melting into their water. It's seeping in and they're drinking it. So don't buy bottled water outside. If you're gonna buy it, make sure it's inside. It hasn't been sitting outside in the heat. Um, and Yeah, and don't leave it in your car. If you're gonna have a plastic bottle, do not leave it in your car. But I just recommend trying to eliminate that as much as possible. I know there's times when we can't, but if you can get used to just bringing your own water bottle, you know, that's going to be so much better, and it's gonna reduce your toxic load a lot. Um, so reusable water bottles, they can be stainless steel, glass, or ceramic, and use glass or ceramic food containers and plates to heat your food on. Or if you use paper plates, don't get the ones that are coated. Just get the paper ones, not the foam ones either. The paper ones. Okay, my next tip is to look for non-toxic self-care, beauty, and household products. We didn't talk a lot about cleaning products, but cleaning products can be a big contributor to your toxic load also. When you're breathing in those tough chemicals, those fake chemicals, they can be really toxic to you. So you can look for non-toxic cleaning products. I really like the Puracy brand, Puracy, Puracy. I even buy like their laundry detergent. It's non-toxic. It's very good and it smells good. The dish soap, they have a dish soap. They have lots of beauty products. So I buy uh, they have like shampoos and conditioners and body washes and all that kind of stuff. Um, I get that for my kids as well, the Puracy brand. I really like that brand. It suds very well. It cleans. It smells good. You can get fragrance free and you can get fragranced. It's up to you, but it is non-toxic. They also have cleaning products. I have kitchen spray, bathroom sprays, things like that. They're just a brand I've really found that I like, Puracy. And I can get most of the stuff I get on Amazon. Um, so the products that we use on our body and in our homes daily are one of the biggest contributors to toxic overload. So you want to look for products without I can't ever say some of these words. Triclosan, phthalates, and PFAs. Or you can just search non-toxic. That is how to find these things. If it says non-toxic, you don't need to worry about these chemical-y names, just search for non-toxic makeup, non-toxic cleaning products, non-toxic, shampoo, lotion. Just always put non-toxic and you'll find the non-toxic stuff. And there's so many products out there now. We're so blessed now because used to 5 or 10 years ago, there wasn't that much to choose from, and it was super expensive, especially, like, makeup and stuff. When I started, like, searching for, like, the non-toxic makeup, it was so hard to find. Now there's a lot of non-toxic makeup and things that are, like, low toxins, low toxic and stuff. So search for that. And then so going back to the food thing, I want you to buy organic whenever possible. Whenever you can, you should buy organic because organic foods are grown and raised without pesticides and antibiotics that can contribute to our toxic load. So if you buy just the regular beef or the regular chicken at the grocery store, it's going to have antibiotics in it. It's going to have all kinds of growth hormones in it. It will have been fed corn and grains. And so whatever that animal was given, to eat, or, they gave them antibiotics, they gave them hormones to grow them, to make them bigger. You're eating that as well. You're eating that when you eat that animal. So I try to buy most of my meats organic, grass fed, because then I know, okay, they eat grass, and the organic are not pumped full of antibiotics and growth hormone. So I don't know. That's one easy way. I know it's more expensive, but in the long run, it'll be cheaper because you won't be spending a bunch of money on your health issues. So that's the way I look at it. I am buying this now and spending more money to prevent spending money on my health later, to prevent spending money having to go to the doctor all the time, having to get medication, having to get surgery. Um, I don't want to do that. I'd rather spend it now and prevent this stuff than down the line I get all these health issues and I have to spend my money on all that stuff. So it's up to you, but that's what I do. I buy organic meats whenever possible, and then the fruits and vegetables also. Um, Regular conventional fruits and vegetables that are not organic are sprayed with a ton of pesticides, glyphosate, all these things that have been shown to cause cancer and a lot of other health issues. Um, that non-organic produce is sprayed with that, and you're eating it, and you can't just say, oh well, I wash it off, or you know I peel it or whatever. It can seep in. It can seep into that food. It absorbs, just like if you put lotion on your skin, it absorbs in there, right? So, so even though you do wash your produce, it's still going to be in there. It might be not on the surface anymore, but it's still going to be in the fruit or vegetable. So that's why we need to buy organic if we want to lower our toxic load. But um, there is a website, EWG, environmentalworkinggroup.com. You can go there and they have like a dirty dozen list. They're the ones who came up with this dirty dozen list. Some of you may have heard of it. But that is going to tell you, because they test all of these different food products to see which ones are the most heavily um, full of toxins, like sprayed with pesticides and all these toxic chemicals. And then they come up with this, okay, the dirty dozen list is the highest, most toxic list of produce, and it changes every year. They come out with a new one every year. So, you know, one year oranges might be on there, and another year they may not. So you just have to look every year at this dirty dozen list to know what are the most toxic things right now. And what I have found is like the thicker the peel, like if you do have an orange and it has a very thick peel on it, it's not going to be as toxic as like a strawberry with no peel, because that peel kind of protects it a little bit and keeps less toxins from getting in. Does that make sense? So, but a strawberry is very heavily sprayed. And the reason they spray these strawberries is because bugs love them. They're delicious, right? So they want them too. They want to eat those strawberries up. So the only way to get the bugs, or conventional farming, the only way they see how to get the bugs not to eat these strawberries up are to spray them with toxins, to spray them with pesticides, right? Um, but the organic strawberries are not sprayed like that. They are sprayed with like safer, non-toxic things to, detract the bugs from eating them up. So, to me, like back in the old days, like our grandparents and stuff, there was no such thing as organic. It was just that, produce was produce, but now we have organic because we have so many, our farming practices are so toxic now that we have to separate them. We have to have non-organic and organic, and now it's more expensive, which I think is crazy, um, but that's just the way it is. But that is another way you can reduce your toxins. And if you go to ewg.com, um, they have the Dirty Dozen list. They have an app that you can, I use this app all the time. If I'm researching a new product, I will look it up on this app. Like it's on the front of my phone. Um, I will look it up on this app to see how toxic it is. That's what I do with my cleaning products, my makeup, my lotions, they have food on there. All these different products, you can look it up on their app, and they even have like a scanner, but they don't have everything in there. But you can scan it, and it'll, if they have it in their inventory or whatever, they'll say, the scanner will work, and you can see how toxic it is, using the scanner. But if not, sometimes I just have to like type in the name, and it'll find it. So that is a great tip that you can use to help lower your toxic load. Look your products up on that app, EWG app. And you can go to EWG also and find the Dirty Dozen list and find a bunch of articles. They write all kinds of like blogs and stuff about different toxins and studies and different things they've found through their research. And so they're a great source if you are wanting to learn more about toxins and reducing your toxic load. Okay, and my last tip is to help detox your body. So no matter how many things we do to reduce our toxic load, we still are going to get some toxins, right? So the best thing the most natural thing, you don't have to go on some detox diet, because I mean, you can, but, it just doesn't last. It doesn't do much. But the best thing you can do, to detox your body is to sweat. If you sweat on a daily basis or at least a weekly basis, you will detoxify. So you can do this through exercise. You can do it through sitting in a sauna. Anything that makes you sweat, like garden, do yard work, anything that makes you sweat. I usually exercise and I sweat. But that is the best, most natural, easiest, free way you can detoxify your body. But the key is to do it consistently. You can't just do it once a month. You have to do it regularly, 3 times a week, 4 times a week, 5 times a week, something like that. Um, if you can sweat more days than not, that would be good. And you will start reducing your toxic load. You'll start feeling better. You'll start, and that is last week on my Q&A, somebody asked about exercise. I don't use exercise for weight loss. Exercise is great for detoxing, for sweating. It's great to build muscle. It's great for mental health. It's great for a lot of things, but it's not what I would turn to if you want to lose weight. Um, I mean, like if you are exercising and you're sweating and you're detoxing, you will probably lose weight. But I just don't think that shouldn't be like, oh, I'm just going to exercise and I'll lose all this weight. No, it needs to start with other things. And exercise is a great addition, but to me, exercise is more for my mental health and for detoxifying and just helping me like build muscle and keep my muscle. That is why I use exercise. Um, and Yeah. So just anything that makes you sweat. It doesn't have to be exercise. Yeah, if you just really don't like exercise, but like I take the dog for a walk and I get sweaty. I lift weights and I get sweaty. So it's not like I'm in the gym and, working out for an hour or whatever. You don't have to do that. Just sweat for a few minutes and it will detoxify. If you can just do it regularly, that's the key. You know, Sweat several times a week. All right, guys, I know that I can just talk forever on this stuff, but I hope it was interesting to you. I hope you really got something out of this and it opened your eyes and see now you're aware of this and you can do something about it. So I hope that you can take this information and take action, reduce your toxins, and let me know which tip that you liked or that you want to try. Let me know which one. Um, so, you know, I hope you see that it's not always the food that's keeping you from losing weight. Your toxic load has a huge part in that. It has a huge effect on your metabolism. And like I said earlier, I have a program that is just for reducing toxic load. And the people that I've taken through this toxins program, they've really gotten a lot out of it. They've had a lot of success. They've had weight loss where just the conventional things that everybody knows about was not working. And so when we dove into their toxic load and reducing that, they started losing weight again. They were able to meet their goals. They were able to reverse health issues. And so if you're interested in that, if you're interested in that program, I can give you more information about it. If you just want to have a DM conversation or a phone call or, just get more clear on if this is something that is a possibility for you. Like if you're trying all the other things and it's not working, we can have a conversation and, I can kind of ask you some questions and like determine whether, okay, this is something that would be good for you or it's not. Um, we can have a conversation about that if you're interested in learning more or diving deeper or getting clear on whether you have toxic overload or not. So let me know. Just you can put interested in the comments if you are interested in that and having a conversation. It can just be a simple DM conversation or it can be a phone conversation. And we can just dive more into that and see if that is something that would benefit you. We can see what's going on for you. It may not be toxins, maybe it's something else, but we can get clear on that. So If you're interested, just put interested in the comments and I'll reach out to you in the DMs if you put interested. Um, but all right, guys, I hope this was helpful and I will see you next Tuesday. Bye.